So hello guys, today I'm going to talk about reading part 3. So actually I have already completed two parts and how to practice reading. So in this module I'm going to start further you know. So here I'm going to show you practically how you are going to solve to, some sample questions. For example, true false not given and fill in the blanks I'll cover in this video, and the next question steps I'm going to cover in the next video. In the coming videos. So let's dive into it. So solve one type of questions around 200 to 300 a days. So actually this point I have already covered. I have already told you. So this is really important, guys. If you do not, if you at least you have to cover, at least you have to complete around 100 to 200 questions in one day. I just try to focus on only one types of question. If you will do that, it will bring perfections in you, and it will bring confidence, right? So just try to solve only one types of questions, and the most important thing, you have to practice from Cambridge. You don't follow any random questions pattern, so there you may get confused. Similarly, uh, and the tricks to find and the tricks to solve this question, the true false not given question, is to finding the keywords. So keywords plays really important roles in solving the true false not given. If you know the keywords, if you know the keywords, you just have to locate the answers of that keyword from your passage on your passage. And if you know when you're familiar with that, when you're familiar with locating answers, so it will be easy for you guys to solve true false not given question. You do not have to study whole passage. So just try to find the keywords. If you don't know, tell your trainers to help you in finding the keywords. So I'll show you how to find the keywords. So, and the next question and the next point I'm going to cover is, next you guys have to do is try to find answers to the question which contain name and number types of question. So uh, what I'll suggest you, so in your questions there is given name and number. So maybe mostly you get these types of questions in part 1 and reading part 2. So try to first solve those questions, so it will be easy for you to locate the answer. You do not have to read whole passages thoroughly. So just do that, guys. So let's move to the random passes. Oh no, sample passes. The development of the London Underground Railway. So actually this passage I have taken from the Cambridge. So and let's see how I'm going to solve this question, how I'm going to solve this passage. So here are some of the questions. So it's firstly about the fill in the blanks not given. Okay. It's about the fill in the blanks. So here what is given. So this is a number questions. So the number one. So you can find it. And the most important things, the one questions. The number one questions. The questions which is initially given. So that answers you may find there were one or two passes. So in the first or second passage. So try to but when questions like let's say the 12 13 or 8 9 10, so these types of questions you mostly these types of questions answers you mostly uh, found below the last passes or maybe last one or two passes. So this is the chances of getting answer. So let's see. So this is a name types of questions, right? The number types of question, right? So what is saying, the dash of the London increased rapidly between 1800 and 1815. The question is asking something has increased rapidly between 1800 and 1850. So within we have to find the numbers here, right? So in between 1800 and 1850, and there has something increased rapidly. So well, of course, let's see. What is it? The passes. So okay. So 1800, yes. So in the first half means 1800 to, it's below 1850, right? So in the first half of the 1800s, London's population grew at an astonishing rate. Astonishing rate means rapidly, right? And London's population. So what has increased rapidly? Population grew, and London's population has grew rapidly. But the thing is, here is given only one word only. So you have to write here populations. Okay. So this is the trick. So this population is your answer. Uh, Let me mark it right. Okay. Now let's look at the next question. What it's about. So you do not have to study. Okay. So look here. The name is here Charles Person, but in this question there is no name or nothing like that. So you can look at this name and below, and the answers of the questions too will be just below the name of this person, right? So but let's read this question, what it is, what it wants actually. Building the railway would make it possible to move people to better housing in the dash. Building the railway, okay, would make it possible to move people to better housing in the dash. So Charles Person, let's try to look at this name where it is. Okay, so I will find Charles Person, Charles Person. Okay, yeah, okay. So here we found Charles Person, right? So let's make it, mark it with green color. Okay, Charles Person, who worked as a solid for the city of the London. He saw both the social and economic advantage in building an underground railway that would link the underground railway station together and clear London slums at the same time. His idea was to relocate the poor workers slums to newly constructed suburbs to provide cheap railway travel for them to get work. Okay, I think this is the answer. uh, Let me check it. Answer. So what it is saying, what it is. So building the railway would make it possible to move people to better housing in the suburb. Where actually building the housing in the where? In the suburbs. So well, of course, I think suburb is the answer. So his idea was to relocate the poor workers who lived in the inner city slums to newly constructed suburbs, and to provide cheap railway travel for them. Provide cheap railway travel for them. So well, of course, I think suburb is the answer. The building the railway would make it possible to move people to better housing in the suburb. So definitely the suburb would be the answer. A number of dash agreed with person's idea. Or some peoples maybe agreed with the person's idea, or some businessman, or some coach, or some anything, anybody maybe agreed with the person's idea. So we have to look at the agreed, who has actually agreed on the person's idea. So this is your answer. Now the third answer should be mm, below the second answer. Okay, so person's idea gained support amongst some businessmen. Okay, and in 1851 he submitted a plan to parliament. It was rejected. Okay, so parliament hasn't submitted. So this is the answer, I think. So let's mark it red. Second, let me go to the passage. Okay, building the railway would make it possible to move people to better housing in the, oh, okay, no. A number of businessmen agreed with the person's idea. A number of means, uh, a number of means not all of it, right? A number of means not all of it. Some people. Here is also in your questions you can find uh, support some businessman. So exactly the businessman would be the answer. Okay, now let's move to the fourth question. The company initially had a problem getting the dash need for the project. Well, so the company initially has had a problem. So some problems may be there, and getting the dash need for the project, something which is needed for the project. So in getting that, company had a problem. So well, what is that things which make the company problems? This is actually a problem for the company. Okay, and he submitted the parliament. It was rejected, but no, this is not. The two group merged and established a metropolitan railway company. The company plan was constructed under railway Great Western. Okay, okay. The organization had a difficulty. Okay, the organization has a difficulty in raising the fundings. So this is funding is your answer. So the organization had difficulty in raising the funding for such a radical and expensive scheme. So funding is your answer, right, guys? Because of funding, I think. Mm, so a number of the company initially had a problem getting the funding needed for the project. So the funding definitely would be the answer. Now let's move to the next question. Negative articles about the project appeared in the dash. So somewhere negative articles about the project may have appeared. So let's see where the negative articles about the project had appeared. Okay, so where we are. Okay, funding we got. Okay, so the organization had difficulty. Okay, uh, okay, so the organization had difficulty in raising the funding for such a radical and expensive scheme, not least because of the critical articles printed by the press. Critical articles printed by the press. Okay, objectors argued that the two tunnels would collapse under the weight of the traffic overhead, buildings would be shaken, and passengers. So, well, I don't think that you can find the answers below, but of course, I think the press would be the answer. So definitely, anything. I mean, some negative articles. I mean, the articles are written on the press, so the press would be the answer. Appeared in the press. Okay. So let's move to now try to find this word cut and cover. So where you find the cut and cover? Try to look at this one. Look at this word cut and cover. Okay. So mm, cut and cover. Did you find any word? Okay. So here I got this word. So let me make it green. Yeah. And what is the question? With the completion of the brick arc, the tunnel was covered with dash. So something actually, something was used to cover the tunnel. So what was that? And it's talking about the brick arc, right? It's talking about the arc. So let's move to this point. Okay. A trench about 10-meter wide and 6-meter deep was dug, and a side were temporarily held up with the timber beams. A brick wall were then constructed, and finally a brick arc was added. Okay, arc. Here comes the word arc. Okay, was added to create a tunnel. Okay, a 2-meter deep layer of soil was laid on top of the tunnel and road above. So what is the answer? Well, definitely the soil. See, it has been covered with the soil. Soil. Okay, so this is your answer. See, in this way you have to find the answer, guys. So now let's move to the true false not given. Well, definitely you have to in the true false not given type of questions. First of all, try to solve the questions which contains the words which is easy to locate. So what are those words? For example, the cotton covers. Okay, so this is quite easy to locate. Other countries had built underground railways before metropolitan. Okay, more people. Okay, so these questions are actually quite easy to locate. So let's look at the 10th question. Question cotton cover. Okay, and so what is the question actually? A different approach from the cut and cover technique was required in London Central's area. London Central's area. This is your actually the keyword. A different approach. No. This is your a different approach. If the approach is different from the cut and cover technique from the cut and cover technique for the London Central area, then it's true. If there is the same approach which the cut and cover technique was required in the London, then it is false. If it's not talking about the different approach, so just talking about the cut and cover and the different techniques and all other it's just talking about the London central areas and about the cut and cover, and it's not talking about the different approach, then definitely it will be the not given answer. And sometimes not given answers would not be even mentioned. So let's see the 10th question. So let's look at the cut and cover. So we have found cut and cover is here, but we have found the sixth answer. So try to look at cut and cover below. So London central area, you find it. Okay, the capital central party not the problem was firstly. Okay, so curtain cover. So here is the curtain cover. Let's see. The cut and cover method of construction was not an option in this part of the capital. The only alternative was to tunnel deep underground. Okay, in this part. What is that part? The problem was partially that the existing underground lines formed a circuit around center. Okay, so it's talking about the center of London, right? So yeah, and extend to the suburb, but did not cross the capital center. So and extend to the suburb, but did not cross the capital center. Okay, did not cross the capital center. This cut and what is that cover? The cut and cover method of construction was not an option in this part. In this part means the center of London. So the only alternative was to tunnel deep underground. So definitely it is the different approach is needed. Well, of course, the answer is would be what? True. So just write it true. True. Okay. I'll mark it in red so that it would be distinguishable. Now let's move to the windows on the City and South London trains were at eye level. If the windows on City and South London trains were at eye level, it's true. If it is not on the passenger's eye level, then definitely it would be the false, and otherwise it would be not given. So let's find out whether the windows are at eye level or not, and the answers of the questions 11 would be just below the answers of question 10. So let's move. Uh, it's okay. Although the technology to create this tunnel existing steam locomotive could not be used in such a confined space, it wasn't until the development of reliable electric motor means okay power generation and the world first deep electric railway city was the line opened windows okay. In 1899 from the city Stockwell River, the train were made up of three carriages and were driven by the electric engines. The carriages were narrowly thin. Oh, okay, so here I got. The carriages were narrow and had teeny windows just below the roof. It's not talking about the passenger size. It's talking about the roof, just below the roof, because it was thought that the passenger would not to look out of the tunnel wall. So definitely the answer will be false. Why? Because it is just below the roof, not the passengers below the eyes. Okay, um, not below the eyes level of passengers. So what would be the answer? F A L S E. Yeah, the answer will be false. Now let's move to the question 12. The City and the South London Railway was a financial success. If it was a financial City and the South London Railway, if the City and South London Railway was financially success, it's true. If it's not financially success, it was because of the other. It may be other success, then it is false. And if it's not talking about the financial success or any success, I mean any kinds of success, then definitely it would be the not given answer, not given. So let's look at this City and South London Railway. City and South London Railway. Uh, Actually, so so let me make it. Yeah, okay. Now let's look at this. Actually, what was the success? Okay, the line was without a problem. The lines was not without its problem, mainly caused by an unreliable power supply. Although the City and South London Railway has a great technical achievement, Okay, it was not the financial, and it did not make a profit. It did not make a profit means what? It's not financial. So definitely the answer will be what? False. It was technically achievement, so there was a huge success in the technical aspect, but in the profit section, I mean in the financial section, it was not that much succeed. Okay, so this answer will be F A L S E, false. Oh, oh boy. So the false. Sorry, let me make it red. Yeah, train on the Company tube. Just pronounce it whatever it is. Company tube nearly always rain on time. So if it is rain on time, it's true. If it's not rain on time, it's false. If it's not talking about time, then it's not given. So Tumpy tube. So let's find the Tumpy tube where it is. So here you go. Here is the Tumpy tube. So Then in 1900, the Central London Railway, known as the Tumpy Tube, began operation using new electric locomotives. It was very popular, and soon afterwards, new railway and extension were added to the growing tube network. By 1907, the heart of the today's underground railway system was in place. Well, of course, what is the answer? Not given. It's not talking about the time. Well, even it is not mentioned anything related to time. So, not. Yeah, given would be the answer. And the most important thing, guys, try to write all the reading and listening answers in capital letter. Now let's find the above answer. Okay, so 7, 8, 9 answer. So the use of ventilation shaft failed to prevent pollutions in the tunnel. More people than predicted travel on the metropolitan line the first day. Okay, so we have found the answer. Question 15. So the use of ventilation shaft failed to prevent pollution in the tunnel. Let's look at if the ventilation shaft failed to prevent pollution in the tunnel, it is true. If it is not talking about the failure, or if it has not failed, then it is false. And if it's not, and in the questions and in the paragraph, it's not, if it not talks about whether it has failed or not, then definitely the answer should be not given. So let's find the answer. Question 9. Okay, so locomotive. So we're gonna go. Okay, fumes here I have seen. Okay. However, the smoke and fumes remained a problem even though the ventilation shaft were added to the tunnel. Well, even though the ventilation systems were added to the tunnel, actually fuel remains a problem. So actually this is a problem. What is your question? The use of ventilation shaft failed to prevent the pollution in the tunnel. Yes, true. Well, actually it has failed, right? No. More people than predicted travel on the metropolitan line on the first day. So there must be a first day, right? So more people than predicted. If more people than predicted, more people means not all of the people, right? So more people means many people. So these small words, more even matters here. So more people than predicted travel on the metropolitan line on the first day. If it is more people predicted travel on the first day, it's true. If it's less people, whatever it has been the prediction, then it's false. If it's not talking about anything related to it, then it's not given. So let's find answer. More people predicted on the first day travel. Okay, 9.5 minutes had made. Had. So what is that? On first day or first? Okay, let's read from here. The Metropolitan Line, which opened on the 10th January 1863, was the world's first underground railway. On its first day, almost 40,000 passengers were carried between 18 and 80. The journey taken about 18 minutes. By the end of the Metropolitan first year of the operation, 9.5 million journey had made. So I don't think that here it's talking about on the first day. I mean, talking about the predictions and lots of people actually travel on that day. So the answer should be not given. Now let's move to the question 7. Other countries had built underground railway before the metropolitan line opened. If other countries had built underground railway before the metropolitan line opened, it's true. If other countries had not built underground railway before the metropolitan line opened, it's false. If it's not talking about whether it has built or not, then it's not given. So let's move to the question 7. Well, uh, so your answer was here, right? The previous answer. I mean the questions 8 and here. Let's make it green so that is you do not have to study. Okay. Okay. What was that? A trench about 10-meter wide and about 6 meter deep was the a 2 meter deep railway. Okay, the metropolitan line which opened on 10th was the world first. Okay, okay, just a second. It was the world first underground railway. It was the world first. It was the world first underground railway. So it means what? The answer would be false, because there were no other countries actually had built that the underground railway before the metropolitan line opened, right? So the answer would be false. 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 Okay, so let's make it false. So thank you guys. In this way, you have to do the reading.